Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Londonderry Town Council meeting. Tonight's meeting is October 7th at 7 p.m. Please all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing. I'm going to take a moment of silence here. Our first responders worked really hard over this weekend looking for a missing 15-year-old, and many hours were put in. Thankfully, the child is okay, but a lot of people spent a lot of time away from their homes this weekend, and let's think nice thoughts for them. Thank you. Okay, folks, we start off here with public comment, but I think the town manager has something we're going to start off with tonight. Do you want to?
It's up to you.
Go ahead and introduce. You're the announcer.
Are you going to read the proc?
I will, but you're the.
All right.
You should invite the football coach up. You're the voice of the Lancers.
All right. So Jimmy, why don't you come up and introduce who we have here with us this evening? Come on right up to the mic. We know you like the spotlight, so.
Yeah, I love the spotlight. All right, we have our starting running back, four-year starter, Jeff Wiedenfeld. Starting offensive and defensive lineman, Blaine Hawkins. Starting offensive lineman, three-year starter, Cooper Bartlett. And our starting quarterback, Jake McEachran, our four captains. If you guys want to come up.
Come on up,
Coach.
guys.
Hey, come on up. You can sit in the front row or wherever the coach tells you to go.
I'm fine.
So guys, pretty big deal, over there in Derry the other day, and a couple thousand people showed up, maybe 8,000 or 9,000 people showed up. And we thought it would be a nice thing to recognize that on your behalf here at the town council level. So I'm going to read a proclamation from the town that the councilors will sign, will be given to your coach and be displayed in the high school. So it says here, the Town of Londonderry Proclamation, the proclamation congratulating the 2019 Lancer football team on the momentous occasion of defeating the Pinkerton Astros. Whereas the last time the Londonderry Lancers defeated the Pinkerton Astros in football was in 2001 by a score of 35-0. It has been 18 years and 22 games since the Lancers last defeated the Astros. Whereas many Lancer gridiron squads had come close to winning the last few years, paving the way for this year's team to end the streak. And whereas on September 27, 2019, the Lancer football team trounced Pinkerton Astros on their home turf by a score of 42-24. And whereas a momentous victory, it is but a stepping stone in what has been a promising season thus far. Therefore, it is resolved by the Londonderry Town Council that it extends its heartiest congratulations and commendation to the 2019 Lancer football team on its resounding victory over the Pinkerton Astros, ending an 18-year streak, wishing them continued success for the remainder of the 2019 football season. But I have one other thing here. You guys all know who Vince Lombardi is, right?
Of course.
Here's what Vince Lombardi would have said. The difference between a successful person and others is not a lack of strength, a lack of knowledge, but rather a lack of will. I think you guys took care of that. Football is like life. It requires perseverance, self-denial, hard work, sacrifice, dedication, and respect for authority. And it says here, winners never quit, quitters never win. I'll leave the rest of them for the coach. Maybe he'll use them at some point. You never do know about those things. But gentlemen, come on up, see the council. Congratulations.
Great job. Congratulations.
Good job, guys. Good luck the rest of the way.
Congratulations.
Very welcome.
Good.
Hey, congratulations. Keep it up. Good luck the rest of the season.
great job.
Congratulations.
So
Congratulations.
Jimmy, I'll get Kirby to get the one more signature on here, and then she'll get this over to you. Okay? You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
So folks, we're in public comment. Is there anyone else who would like to address the council about anything about the public comment tonight? Anything you want to say? Any subject you want to bring up? Okay, we're all set. Moving on. New business, order 2019-24, an order relative to the expenditure of maintenance trust funds for various projects. Mr. Cotton.
Tonight on order 2019-24, what we're looking to do is, when the server room was put here in Town Hall back many years ago, basically it was put in a non-server room, basically a closet. We currently have one HVAC unit in that room supporting it. We do have that server room on the battery generator backup, so that if we do lose power, at least we have electricity and cooling. My concern is that without redundancy, the AC goes off. We've got all this equipment that supports not only the town hall, it supports all the functions around the whole community here within the various buildings around the town of Londonderry for the town complex, library, fire stations, etc. So tonight we're asking for $11,400 and let me get my glasses.
8905.
$89.05 to install a second backup system for the HVAC, not to have in that room in case of event that something goes wrong with the first one. Before we move on to the order, I do want to make one correction. It looks like there's a typo in the order. If we go down to it, says now therefore be it ordered by the Town Council of Town of Londonderry that the town treasurer is hereby ordered to expend. That should be $11,489.05. If we could strike the 2 zeros at the end.
Got it.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion, we accept the order as edited.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Chair votes affirmative. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
Next item, amendment to the solid waste and recyclables collection contracts. Always a favorite subject.
Mr. Chairman, if it's okay, while Janos gets this set up, could we talk about number 3 on the agenda first and come back to it?
Discussion of additional state revenue.
So, as I had mentioned at the last meeting, prior to the state budget being passed, there was the chance that we were going to be seeing additional state revenues that we weren't anticipating over the next 2 years. I'm pleased to report that with the state budget now being passed, they did maintain this additional funding for the municipalities. For Londonderry, what it means is that over the next 2 years of the state budget, we'll be receiving what amounts to $532,000, $513,000 in unanticipated revenue. There's no strings attached to this revenue in that it can be used on any projects in town. But one of the suggestions that I had at the last meeting was using $317,600 of that to meet the 50% match for the improvements to be done at the intersection of Stonehenge Road and Route 28. As you recall, we are quote-unquote short that amount because of the cost of the improvement of that intersection to be at 50%. This would bring us there. It would keep some monies remaining. And so with the council's blessing, that would be my intention to let DOT know that we have funding to meet our 50% match to go and move forward with that intersection improvement.
Any questions? Yes.
Kevin, do you know if that
Just don't
would
kick.
change
Just don't kick anything.
priority
Kick anything.
project?
Yeah, so that was already a priority to be started now. The only reason the reason it's been delayed is because our 50% funding was not there. But if we were to say yes to this and use that funding for it, would sign the contract, and they would begin the design and engineering work immediately. That's my understanding.
Do we have any ideas for the rest of the money?
Yes, I have an idea. There's a major culvert that needs to be replaced by the airport. It's something that we can't put off for very long, and it's going to be an expensive culvert replacement. So my thought was to put the balance of that $532,000 towards that culvert replacement.
Are we getting all this money all at once, or do we have to wait?
It's
in
over.
half?
It's over 2 years, so we get half of it this year, and then half of it in the next 2021 budget.
And do we know if this amount of money will be coming for the following budget year as well, or is this just a temporary one-time?
It's, I mean, it's a one-time. Yeah, it's a one-time amount. Though in the previous state budget, if you recall, we got $520,000 that were to be used toward roadway improvements. And that's where our first 520 came from for the Stonehenge intersection. So this is the second state budget in a row where they've given additional monies back to the municipalities. There seems to be a soft spot right now with the legislature and the governor for doing more revenue sharing than they had previously. And so I'm happy to see the trend. We can't count on it, every 2 years, but certainly having it now 2 budget cycles in a row is a good sign.
Good. Sounds good.
Everybody good?
All right, great, thank you. And now I turn it over to Janos for trash and recycling discussion.
Recycling show. Currently, we have a solid waste and recycling contract with Waste Management that is good till the fiscal year 23. I showed only to 21 because the 22 and 23, it's at our option, we can extend that contract. So because the contract is pretty good, we obviously will be extending the contract for the next 2 years. But the contract for solid waste, we have separate price for collection and separate price for disposal of tonnage. Now, the contract is structured that each of these items per ton and per disposal for collections are going 3% a year. The same thing is with recycling. Recycling is collection is $416,000 right now, and however, for tonnage of disposal of tonnage is a fixed price of $30. Now, Waste Management informed us that due to the major unforeseen changes in the recycling conditions, China is not taking material. Not only that, now 10% contaminations was changed to 0.5% contamination. The cost of processing went up. They are not able to fulfill the 30% maximum price. And they approach us, with an incredible astronomical jump in price. We obviously objected, and upon advice from our attorney, we negotiated an amendment that will allow us to change the recycling contract by increasing only slightly each year. So we have a kind of not rapid increase in the price per ton. And it's from $30 for 2020 will be $40, and then $5 each additional year. What we negotiated that in return for that, solid waste will extend the contract for solid waste for the trash. They don't control commodities, but they control the landfill. And so right now we have a contract that for 3% increase all the way to 23, the price of disposals will go up. Now, we're able to negotiate that they will extend that contract for 3 each year extensions, not at 3 1 year, but 3 extension, 1 year extensions, with only 1.5% increase, which is extremely good price because already 3% was good price. Right now, when the contract's going up, for trash, they're already going around $90 now. The same thing is happening, $80 for recycling, $70 for recycling, now in 2020. So we were able to lock ourselves with this contract, with this amendment, all the way to 26 with pretty good price, maximum price for the garbage, only $84.90. And if we would end this contract in 23, we would notice the huge jump that will be not 84, but probably will be at that time over $100 or more that we'll have to pay for garbage disposal. The same thing would be prices for recycling. The trend is really going up of disposing, the cost of disposal. So I believe that this amendment provides the town kind of predictable rate and a cost of a pretty good rate, discounted rate that we have right now as we agreed and negotiated with them. So I would recommend that we vote for this amendment, and the amendment was, what you have in front of you, was reviewed by our town council, by our attorney, and is ready for your approval.
Questions?
Kevin, your understanding of the rules that we became exposed to at the DRA last year is a predictable, would be a predictable contract that would be part of the default budget? Would have to be a separate vote on this?
You know, Tom, I don't want to give a definitive answer. I'd rather, I think this will still be a part of default, even though we're amending it. Let me look for sure, and I can give a definitive answer at the next meeting.
Okay, I think it's important for us to at least know what, you know.
Sure.
So we can set the expectations in the community.
Yeah.
And maybe we have to do a warrant article on the amendment, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm thinking because we had already approved the contract previously, that we don't have to do a separate warrant article, but I don't want to answer definitively without double checking on it.
Giannis, how long have we've been talking to these guys for close to a year now, right?
Yes.
So, as I recall, I think Attorney Ramsdell had mentioned at some point that this would just be an amendment to the existing contract, and we wouldn't have to go to the voters. But we can double check that. I mean, just seeing what's going on with recyclables alone, you know, in the world, I mean, this certainly seems to make sense.
Yep.
Any other questions?
One other question, do we dispose of all the trash and recyclables as part of this contract for the schools as well? Or do they do their own disposal?
No, we are picking up schools too.
So we pay the bill
For the schools?
for the schools?
For the,
Or do we balance bill, do we bill the school department for it, or do we pay it?
no, we are paying for that.
I think-
So for our budget workshop on November 2nd, if you can just bring us, you know, approximate breakout.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not thinking that we should do anything different, but I think we should make sure that the school department understands that in their budget, they don't have to budget for trash and recycle disposal, that the town's gonna pay for it, and so that the tax rates, you know, reflect the correct amounts. It's not a double hit to the tax rates.
Yeah, just strictly educational. That'd be great. Good point. That might be the last thing we pay for them. I don't think we pay for anything else anymore. Any other questions? I'd say you have a consensus to move forward.
Okay, thank you.
Alrighty, next item, approval of minutes for September 16th. I'll entertain a motion as they are, for
So
approval.
moved.
Second?
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Votes affirmative, minutes are approved. I have an appointment here tonight for Dave Abbott. Would that be you, sir? Come on up, Dave. I promise this will be painless. I understand you're interested in the Londonderry Housing Authority.
Yes.
why don't you take a minute? Generally, the way we do is we give your name and your address, so just so our clerk can capture that.
Sure.
And then just give us an idea of introduce yourself, give us an idea of, why you want to serve, and then we'll just move forward from there.
Okay. My name is David Abbott. My address is 5J Drive in Londonderry. I'm married to my wife for 24 years. I have 2 children, ages 16 and 14. I work in Nashua. I've worked there at the company that I worked for 19 years. And I was born and raised in New Hampshire, in the Seacoast area. Went to college in Massachusetts, so I'm from New England. My interest in the Housing and Redevelopment Authority is to help the town develop, economic opportunities and further grow the economic activity in the town. I'm in corporate finance, not necessarily in treasury, but I work with numbers a lot, and I think that the group has a need for some financial assistance.
Mhm.
I think I can lend a hand with that.
Terrific.
And I think I can make the commitment of what they're looking for, so I think I
Fantastic.
can help.
Gentlemen, any questions for Dave? Yes.
Dave, thank you for volunteering. It's the backbone of our community is our volunteers, and I have no questions. I would welcome you to the LHRA.
Thank you.
I'll entertain a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to approve David Abbott to the LHRA.
Second.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Chair votes affirmative. Just see the clerk sometime during the day, and she'll swear you in.
Okay, great.
Congratulations.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank you for stepping up. Okay, liaison reports. Anything new and exciting going on?
This coming Wednesday at the planning board, we have one of the first proposals for the 55-plus developments for Woodmont coming up.
Oh, that'd be interesting. That should be very interesting.
Baldwin?
Yes.
Anything else? No, I can tell you that, as the airport director reported to us recently, they were able to renegotiate their debt, and they'll be dropping their rates, so he's hoping that it's going to be able to entertain more flights.
I did read that article. That looks very exciting.
So, and then I think if, you also know another article that the town manager sent to us is that you'll see that the area over by, I believe it's over by the Trader Joe's, that Bedford is now, the developer is now going to approach Bedford about putting in 300 to 500 apartments. So, and not do the mixed-use development that they were proposing. So sort of interesting that, it's now, we've seen a fair amount of multifamily housing here in town, and then it's now spreading out into other communities. I think Merrimack had one for about 150 to 200 units as well. So there's it seems to be a lot of demand for that here in town, or here in the region, I should say. Town manager report.
Mr. Chair, the only thing I have to report, actually 2 things. One is the Town Common project is nearly complete in that all of the drainage has been installed. It's been loamed, it's been hydro-seeded, so now we just need the grass to grow. So we've just asked the public to be patient and stay off of there until the grass is established. But otherwise, everything looks to be just about finished up over there. And I think we'll have much better drainage on there.
I'll commend whoever you hired because they were working on Sunday. Because
I
that's
was over there-
impressive.
I was over there Saturday because, when we're hydro seeding. But did you mention that also we'll be in the springtime, we're gonna be installing the conduits for the electricity and
Right.
irrigation, so.
Yep.
There'll be still, some activity in the springtime, so, but the major construction is completed.
Fantastic. Yes.
What are we gonna do about the Christmas trees and Santa on the common and all that? Are we gonna have to move it?
Let's see how the grass grows.
Yeah, it's not gonna go that quick.
Hopefully, the ground will freeze and we'll get some snow.
Okay,
If we get snow on there, it's not a problem.
okay.
Let's
Alright.
do the snow dance.
We'll cross that bridge when we get to it, I guess.
Santa and Mrs. Claus will show up. Where they show up,
That's a different
we'll see,
story.
but they will show up. We're not canceling Christmas here in Londonderry.
Oh, not?
I can guarantee you of that.
Oh, boy. Okay, Ebenezer.
Oh,
You got your marching orders. All right, Lisa, anything?
No,
I had one other thing, Mr. Chairman. Sorry, Lisa.
no. I think, no.
The building adjacent to us, affectionately known as the Clam Shack, will be coming down, looks like this week. They're just in the final stages of detaching everything that was in there from Town Hall, and but it is scheduled to come. I don't know if the weather will affect it because we're supposed to have some wet weather this week, but nonetheless, it is scheduled to come down this week.
Alrighty. Okay, so I'm looking at our meeting schedule. Our next meeting is October 21st. I had mentioned to our administrator, our administrative assistant, that to move the town council meeting on November 4th to November 7th. We're having a budget workshop on November 2nd on Saturday, so I'd like to give give us a little time in between so that we can get some feedback to the questions, so we can be a little bit more productive in that meeting so move that one from the 4th to the 7th, which is a Thursday. And then also I'd like to look at, as we're going into the holidays here, the 18th is the week before Thanksgiving. Do you want to? That means our next meeting after that would be the 2nd, right after Thanksgiving. Do you want? I guess maybe on the 7th we'll take a look at where we are budget standpoint. Do we have any budget workshops worked in between the 7th and the 18th?
I don't think we do. So the week of the 11th, you're saying? I don't believe there's a budget workshop worked in right now on that.
So we have one on the Saturday, the 2nd of November?
Right, and then we have a council. I want to move the council meeting to the 7th. Perhaps on the 7th we can revisit whether we'll move the 18th as well, so that we can we can meet the budget questions. I'd like to see if if it's possible to get a lot of that out of the way before Thanksgiving. Or we can put it off. I mean, is everyone around for Thanksgiving? Anybody traveling?
Just up for those few days, but
Just maybe we move the council meeting to the 25th, but we can talk about that on the 7th.
Yeah, right now we're scheduled, so if we move, we have the Saturday, November 2nd, and then you're moving the council meeting to the 7th. The next budget meeting would be on the 18th.
All right, let's see where we're at on the 7th, and then we can make a decision.
Okay.
Okay? All right. Seeing nothing else, any other questions? Seeing nothing further, accept the motion to adjourn.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Chair votes affirmative. We're adjourned. Thank you.